Good afternoon and welcome to Common Ground here on 88.1 KFCF, Free Speech Radio for Central California. My name is Francine Oputa and I am your host of this show that comes to you every second and fourth Friday and occasionally on a fifth Friday and shares with you the rich cultural diversity that we have here in the Central Valley. And one of the things I love about doing this show is that our concept of culture and diversity is very broad in the broadest sense. So we've had individuals here representing the LGBT community, representing the Southeast Asian community, the um, uh, Jewish community, the Islamic community, the Christian community, and of course many other ethnic groups, and even more. And so we welcome you if you have suggestions for guests that might be on our show. Uh, you can drop a line here at the station, which is area code 559 233 2221, or you can email me at francine at csufresno.edu. I'd love to hear from you. I am very pleased with my guest today. He's someone that I know quite well. It's actually my husband, the Reverend Dr. Henry Oputa. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here today.
It's good to be here.
And one of the things that Reverend Oputa is here to share with us about is the Saturday school program that we have in our community. We recently celebrated 21 years of doing Saturday school. Can you still believe that?
I know.
That we've been doing it for 21 years, and Saturday School is an African and African American cultural education and self image program for children and youth. And anyone is welcome to attend. Our current term runs from March 23rd through May 11th, every Saturday from 2 until 5 p.m. And we'll give you some more information on that, but you can find details on our newly launched website, which is www.thewayfresno.org. Thewayfresno.org. So again, welcome. If you don't mind, if I call you Henry while we're on the show,
Yes,
though I call him many things: Pastor Oputa, Reverend Oputa, sweetheart, honey, all those things.
you can call me whatever you want.
Thank you. So, I always ask the same basic question. And I know you have an interesting ethnic identity. So, talk to me about your ethnic identity.
Well, actually, I consider myself a black man,
Mhm.
and I see myself as a black man because the color black is the thing that ties me with my various ethnic groups. You know, I'm a black American,
Mhm.
I'm a black African, I'm a black Nigerian, and I'm originally from the Igbo tribe
Mhm.
in Nigeria. So I like referring to myself as a black man.
Mm. And I think that's interesting, especially when you say that you're a black African and a black Nigerian, because often people don't think about the fact that there are Africans who are not black Africans. They could be white Africans, Indian Africans, and on and on. And so I think that's an important distinction.
Very true. I'm glad you picked up on that because even here in Fresno, you know, I know of at least a gentleman, white gentleman, that was born
Mhm.
and attended elementary school in Nigeria, but you know, he's of American descent,
Mhm.
United States descent. He's here in this country, but he's actually a white Nigerian,
Mhm.
a white
Mhm.
Nigerian.
Mhm.
Uh,
And how long have you been in the U.S.?
in the U.S., I came to the U.S. initially in the fall of 1974. So
Hmm.
you can do the math. Is
We'll let the listening audience do the
do the
math.
math exactly.
And how did you end up in Fresno? This was not your original destination when you left the country, when you left Nigeria as a young man.
When I came to the U.S., the purpose was in pursuit of higher education.
Hmm.
So I started my college or university studies at Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska. And after 3 semesters, I moved to continue my undergraduate studies at California State University, Tulloch, you know,
Oh, Stanislaus.
Stanislaus
Hmm.
State, right,
Hmm.
Stanislaus State. And after getting completing my undergraduate studies at Stanislaus State, uh, I came here with you, my wife, to do my to do our graduate work.
Hmm.
I studied urban and regional planning,
Okay.
so that's how I got to Fresno.
And when you originally left Nigeria, though, your first stop was not Creighton.
Oh yes, on my way to the U.S., I spent a year in Paris, France.
Hmm.
Okay,
You
those
know,
were
you always smile when you say that, don't you?
well,
I
if
have to
if you
wonder, what's that about?
what's it about? Well, I was I was young, I was free, I was in Paris. I mean, well,
What
it's
more is
just
there to say?
exactly.
Oh, that's
Uh,
good.
yeah.
And we're talking to Reverend Dr. Henry Oputa, who is the director of the Way Ministries John 14:6, which has a Saturday school. And the Saturday school is not religious education, but it's cultural education, and it focuses on African and African American cultural education for children and youth. And one of the goals is to raise children's self image and teach them responsibility, and it's still a joy for learning. How did you come to start this Saturday school program? What motivated you to start this program?
The program started after my experience at a conference in West Fresno in 1990. The conference was titled The African American Male and Endangered Species.
Hmm.
And at that conference, I learned a great deal about the plight of the African American male in our community. The issues were presented and dissected, you know, left and right, up and down, in and out. And as I listened, I didn't hear any solutions
Hmm.
to the problems. And so you know, oh, I know what, I know what. The one thing that got me at the conference was learning that the African American male has a better chance of going to prison by the age of 18 than going to college. Okay,
Hmm.
and that fact or piece of information did not make any sense to me.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
I couldn't imagine how a country like the United States,
Hmm.
you know, will allow their citizens,
Hmm. Hmm.
okay,
Hmm.
to have such experience. And so, you know, in my surprise and frustration, I called upon the Lord and I said, Lord, why is this the case? What can be done and what can I do?
Hmm. And what
And
did he say to you?
well, the Lord impressed upon me to share myself with the children.
Hmm.
You know, He said, you know, the things that I did for fun growing up, you know, I
Hmm.
should share them with the children.
Hmm.
And of course, you know, when I came home from the conference,
Hmm.
I told you about my experience with the Lord, and your response was, oh, I guess the Lord wants you to share the African culture.
Mhm.
Okay,
Mhm.
and being the formal person that I am, uh, we decided to do a brief survey
Mhm.
of the African American parents,
Mhm.
and the outcome was overwhelming support in favor of a cultural program.
Mhm.
And that is how we started the Saturday School program in the spring of 1991.
In the spring of 1991, as we said earlier, we've been doing this program for over 21 years now. We're in spring of 1993, so this
Yeah,
may no, of 2013 rather.
2013,
So we've been doing it for 22
22
years
years,
now. So
exactly.
this is our 22nd session of Saturday School. When it runs this term from March 23rd to May 11th, and we have served hundreds of children. We recently had a banquet and Saturday School reunion
Yes.
where we had scores and scores of former and current children and parents. So we had some children return that were with us when they were 4 and they're now 25, 26, 27. Um, Tell us about that experience. Tell us about the reunion.
The the reunion was, you know, one of the rewards
Hmm.
for the work we've been doing all these years.
Hmm.
You know, it was rewarding for a number of reasons. Uh, 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 on the top of the list was the testimony
Hmm.
of one of our former Saturday school students.
Yeah.
He came to the program when he was 4.
Hmm.
He's now 25 years of age,
Hmm.
and he works in the entertainment industry in Southern California.
Hmm.
And in his testimony, you know, he talked about uh, 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 when the entertainment industry, you know, when things get rough,
Yeah.
okay, and the entertainment industry tries to beat down on him,
Yeah.
you know, he will wake up in the morning, look himself in the mirror, and say, "I am somebody.
I am
I am
somebody.
somebody." And the reason that testimony was so powerful is because the Lord is uh, given me the theme song for Saturday School,
Hmm.
which is titled "I Am Somebody."
Yeah.
Okay, and so, you know, when he said "I am somebody," you know, there was no dry
Hmm.
eye in the room.
Hmm.
Okay, and that made it meaningful.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was a powerful experience because the current children had already sung the song, I am somebody, I am somebody, I'm black and beautiful, I'm intelligent, I'm responsible, I'm hardworking. And then for him to show how significant just singing that song on a regular basis had been to him as a young adult was very moving. We're talking to Reverend Dr. Henry Oputa, who is the director of the Way Ministries John 14:6, and it's Saturday school. It's a Saturday cultural school that teaches African and African American culture to all children. Everyone is welcome to this program. It runs Saturdays. This current term runs through May 11th. We have another term beginning June 1st through July 6th, and then another term September 7th through October 12th. If you want details, and maybe you're in your car, you can't write it down, it's easy to find information on our website, thewayfresno.org. Very easy to remember, thewayfresno.org. You can even download registration materials and bring them with you. Um, there is a nominal fee for Saturday school, $5 per day, but no one will be turned away for lack of funds. So don't let that keep you from sending your children or your grandchildren to Saturday school. What sorts of things do the children do at Saturday school? What sorts of things do they do? What do they learn? What will be happening this term?
Oh, at Saturday school, we offer different subjects and activities from term to term.
Mm-hmm.
This particular term, the focus will be arts and crafts,
Mm-hmm.
the Igbo language, uh, which is a language spoken uh, by the Igbo people of Nigeria,
Mm-hmm.
and also performing arts.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the three uh, subjects and activities for Saturday school this term.
You're listening to 88.1 KFCF, Free Speech Radio for Central California. I'm Francine Oputa, your host of Common Ground. And as I said before, we are talking to Reverend Henry Oputa, who is the director of the wayfresno.org. And it's Saturday School, Saturday Cultural School program. Um, we want the listening community to know that Saturday School, this current term, runs through May 11th. It meets on Saturdays from 2 to 5 p.m. And the location is really kind of easy to find. It's the Martin Luther King Square Apartments, which is across the street from King School at 2286 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. We have a community room there that they're very gracious and allow us to use their community room. And so come on in and join us for our Saturday school program. I've heard so many adults who say, I wish they'd had something like this when I was young. So send your children, your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews. As Reverend Oputa has said, we will be doing dancing and arts and craft. Wonderful art instructor, Dr. Paulette Fleming, who is a faculty member at Fresno State. Craft work done with the children by Della Garrett, who is a pediatric nurse practitioner. We also learn the Igbo language as mentioned. We'll be doing some acting and some dancing. We will also have some field trips this year. We'll be taking the children fishing. We'll be taking them swimming. A lot of fun things for the children to do as they learn. Our desire is to help strengthen your child's self image while they learn and have fun. So, again, this is the Saturday Cultural School of the Way Ministries, John 14:6. Reverend Oputa, you are an immigrant to the U.S. as you've let us know, coming to the country in 1974. So, tell me what has been um, the most positive, aside from marrying your wife, of course. We know that that's at the top of the list. But aside from that, and your daughters and your family here, what has been one of your joys about living in this country?
Uh, to be frank, the the fact that this this country is truly a land of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I came here with the intent of studying to the doctoral level. I came here to get a doctoral degree
Mm-hmm.
in any field of study that I choose, and I was able to achieve that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is truly a land of opportunity. Okay, and conversely, on the other hand, uh, the what I found kind of a little bit unsettling
Mm.
is that there are the children who are born in this country
Mm-hmm.
that don't have the ability
Mm-hmm.
to take advantage of the opportunity here.
Mhm.
Okay, that is unsettling to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
So when you think about that, when you look at the work that you're doing, you not only do work, and again, we're talking to Reverend Henry Oputa, who is the director of the Way Fresno.org, and also the pastor of the Way Christian Fellowship, but also the director of our Saturdays Cultural School, teaching African and African American culture to children and youth. Um, when you look at the things you're doing, what I was going to say is you're not only working with the children over there in West Fresno, you also do work with children in downtown Fresno, which is a predominantly Latino and Latina population there, encouraging them to stay in school, to graduate, to go on to institutions of higher learning. You've given scholarships to kids, you've motivated children. Um, so when you look at, as you talked about your joys in being here and the opportunities, and also the things that have disappointed you, then what are your hopes and dreams for Fresno, for our community, particularly when you think about our young people?
my hopes for our community, and I believe we're getting there.
Hmm.
Okay. Uh, my hopes for our community is that we will truly become uh, who God wants us to be.
Mm.
And part of who God wants us to be is it is becoming a people that see themselves in others. Okay,
Mm.
okay, a people that can see others in themselves and vice versa.
Mhm.
Okay, and a people that will wish and do for others what they wish others to do for them.
Mhm.
Okay, that is my hope for our community.
That proverbial golden rule that we see in almost every culture, to treat people how you want to be treated and respect people how you want to be respected. We're talking to Reverend Henry Oputa, who is the director of the Way Ministries on 146. And one of the ministry's programs is a Saturday cultural school. If you're interested in sending children to learn about African and African American culture. Another one of the, we talked earlier about the anniversary and reunion that was held in 2011 in 2012 for 21 years of Saturday School. Another one of the young women talked about how she learned about Queen Nzinga, and she learned about um, Garrett Morgan, who created the stoplight, and she learned about black inventors, and she went on and on. And so many of us were amazed, like they were really listening. Here she is in her mid 20s,
Yeah,
reciting all of these things that she learned in Saturday school. And she said, I didn't learn this in my public school, but I learned it in Saturday school and what it meant to her self esteem and self image. And so those things are exciting. If you know children who you know that they need that foundation to help them feel good about who they are, or know children that don't know African and African American culture, and you'd love for them to have this fun experience, you can find information about Saturday School on the web at thewayfresno.org. All of the information is there, including the registration forms. This current term runs through May 11th. It's every Saturday from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's at the Martin Luther King Square Apartments, which is in West Fresno, right across from Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School. We often have to tell people that it's not in the office building, but in the apartments across the street from the main office. Um, if you'd like to call for more information, you can call 559 233 8546. I'd like to also shift gears just a little bit and remind our information, our listening audience, to please save the date, particularly if you're on the campus of Fresno State, for our annual diversity conference. It will be Friday, May 26th, from 8:30 a.m. until 4:30 p.m. in the Satellite Student Union. We're doing a wonderful process this year, um, focusing on increasing cross-cultural interactions at Fresno State. We have a wonderfully diverse community, but one of the things that we find is that we don't have as much cross cultural interaction as we would like to see on our campus. And so this year's conference will really be a charrette process where the individuals at the conference will develop a plan and procedure for increasing, rewarding, and acknowledging cross cultural interaction on our campus. So, if you would like to be a part of that, stay tuned. There will be more information coming out on how you can register. If you want to be an early bird, you can give me a call at the Center for Women and Culture, and that number is 278 6946. That's 278 6946. Again, been talking today to Reverend Henry Oputa, who is the director of the Way Ministries, 1014-6, and also it's Saturday Cultural School. Um, can you tell me, uh, Reverend Oputa, do you have any needs for your Saturday school program that our listening audience may want to know about?
Well, we can always use volunteers at our cultural school. Uh, we can, of course, use some donations.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Okay.
from time to time, we do uh, take the children on field trips, so transportation and let's see, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it
transportation,
also school supplies will also
school
need
supplies.
those kinds of things on a regular basis, markers, um, a paper cutter, things like that. So if you're interested in supporting this nonprofit organization that does a lot of work for children in our community, really focusing on keeping them in school, instilling in them a joy for learning, raising their self-image. If you're interested in volunteering, again, give us a call or shoot us an email via our website, and that is thewayfresno.org. Thewayfresno.org. We are talking again with Reverend Henry Oputa. Is there anything else you'd like our listening audience to know about your Saturday school program, about the work you're doing, about the need in our community?
It's a it's a blessing and a pleasure to serve our community through serving the children that live here. One of the things I want our listening audience to know is that Saturday School has achieved and continues to achieve its goal, the goal of the participants completing high school and going on to a 2 or 4 year college. Many of our participants have attained that goal, and so uh, this program works, and your involvement in any way, shape, or form will help us to, you know, continue furthering the success of the program.
Thank you. So if you'd like more information, go to thewayfresno.org. Thank you for listening. This is Francine Oputa, your host of Common Ground.